Ahoy, mateys! Welcome aboard Storytime at Home. We are setting sail on the high seas today with books about pirates and a spyglass craft. Before we get started, though, let me remind you that Summer Reading Club is in full swing, and you can log your reading minutes by going to our webpage, www.faylib.org, and register there with a program called Read Squared. You can also see our calendar on our web page that shows everything we've got going on online this summer. Lots of cool stuff. All of our story times, as well as special performers and presenters, and lots of very cool workshops with all kinds of neat activities and projects. We are open at the library limited hours. You can find those hours on our website as well. So come on in and check out some materials and say hello while you're there. We'd love to see you, at least the top half of your face, because you do need to wear a mask. All right, shall we pull up the anchor and set out for the open waters? You ready? Okay, here we go. The first book I'm going to read to you today is Dirty Joe the Pirate. One of my favorites. Out upon the briny deep where the wild and wet winds blow, there sailed a cruel and evil man, the pirate Dirty Joe. He sailed upon the scummiest craft that ever left the docks. He roamed the world and seven seas in search of dirty socks. There we go. His one good eye surveyed the seas, searching for some ship. And when he spied a boat out there, he'd sneer and lick his lips. All hands on deck, he'd order. There's treasure to be had. He'd shake his one fist in the air and laugh like he were mad. Can you do that? Very good. He'd fire a cannon, cross their bow, and board the other craft. Then make the crew take off their shoes, and with a horrid laugh, he'd tie the sailors all up tight and rob them of their socks, then leave their ship a-floundering to run up on the rocks. The socks he took from other ships, you'll be surprised to learn, he tied upon his rigging lines that stretched from bow to stern. They flapped and fluttered in the breeze, 500 little flags, and the smell that those old socks gave off was enough to make you gag. Till one day, as he sailed his ship somewhere near Mandalay, his lookout spied another boat beating across the bay. "Aha!" said Joe, "let's get that boat. We'll catch her now, by thunder. For sure as I am Dirty Joe, there's socks there we can plunder." The pirates cheered and set the sails to catch up with their prey. They sharpened up their knives and swords, their boat danced in the spray. But suddenly the cheering stopped, the wind it gave a moan, for on the other ship there flew a flag of skull and bones. See it right there? Uh-oh. From mast to mast, from bow to stern, flying everywhere, there flapped and snapped 500 pairs of pilfered underwear? Boxers big and boxers small with stripes and polka dots, and tidy whities hung there too, like the ones your grandpa's got. Lined up on that other deck, armed with swords and knives, was a sight that made the men all shake and fear for their own lives. 100 pirate women waved their daggers and their swords, and a woman pirate captain yelled, "Girls, let's climb aboard." "It's Stinky Annie," someone said, "and her band of smelly varmints. She captures every boat she can and takes their undergarments." "Then all is lost," another said. "We haven't got a chance." "You can't be a pirate if you don't have your underpants." "You lily-livered lunks of lard," lashed out Dirty Joe. "What sort of pirates are you lads? That's what I want to know. We'll show them. We'll take their ship. We'll tie them up," he roared. "We'll take their socks and sneakers too and throw them overboard." The pirates there with Dirty Joe screamed and cheered and yelled. Someone blew a whistle and someone rang a bell. As the boats drew near, the pirates cursed and muttered, while 1,000 pairs of underwear and socks all flapped and fluttered. Can you see them? Look at all that. And as their ships came closer still, Joe's men all could see that Stinky Annie was as scary looking as could be. Her mouth was twisted in a sneer, one arm was but a hook, and with her one good evil eye she gave a withering look. Can you give a withering one-eye look? Finally, the two ships met. On the waves they rocked. Get 'em now, boys, Joe cried out. Take off all their socks. But even as the men attacked the women waiting there, Stinky Annie called to her crew, Girls, get their underwear. Bedlam. Mayhem. It was an awful battle, a loud and raucous fray. At first it seemed that Dirty Joe would win and have his way, until Joe's first mate noticed that Stinky Annie's crew all were fighting barefoot. They had no socks or shoes. What's the point? A man called out. Why make all this fuss? If we can't get their dirty socks, what's in it for us? No, screamed Joe, don't give up now. But he spoke the words too late, and Stinky Annie and her crew quickly sealed their fate. Stinky Annie came aboard and cornered Dirty Joe. She said, I want your boxers now, in case you didn't know. Then Dirty Joe looked up and said, Before you have your fun, your face looks quite familiar. You remind me of someone. Look at the two of them. Do they look a little bit alike? What do you think's going on there? Stinky Annie lowered her sword. They peered at one another. Wait, she said. I see it now. You're Joe, my little brother. That's right, said Joe. Your sister Anne. You bounced me on your knee. Put down your sword. Give up this fight. Please don't do this to me. Stinky Annie gave a smile, and a tear came to her eye. All her crew looked on in awe. They'd never seen her cry. Little Joey, how are you? She asked. How have you been? I'm just fine, dear Sister Anne, he said, and gave a grin. Aww. Good, said Annie. That's great news. Her one eye shone and danced. Now do just what I say, you squirt. I want your underpants. But Annie, you're my sister, Joe blubbered and he whined. Stow it, Joey, Annie said. I haven't got the time. Just 'cause I'm your sister, it doesn't mean I care. I'm a pirate. That's me job. I want your underwear. So Dirty Joe surrendered and did what his sister said. And when he did, it's safe to say his face, more than his face, was red. Oh boy, he's having to wear a barrel because he doesn't have any clothes on. Big sister took his underpants. Stinky Annie sailed away, and still she roams the seas, with her brother's boxers high above, flapping in the breeze. And Dirty Joe, he sailed home, close to the Bay of Fundy. He's not a pirate anymore, because he has no undies. That's the finish of this tale. It's silly and it's done. But there's a lesson here that I'd impart to everyone. If you've got an older sister, then I feel bad for you, 'cause just as long as she's alive, she'll tell you what to do. The end. All right, my phone keeps chirping, so I'm going to turn it off. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, the second book. No pirates allowed, said Library Lou. Look at that. Fun cover. This is a long book. You see it? All right, there we go. At Sea Breezy Library, things were just right. Book lovers were cozy and the sky was blue bright. When, shiver me timbers, through Sea Breezy's door stormed big pirate Pete and his parrot Igor. "Where be the treasure? X marks this spot. We'll dig up the loot and steal all that you've got." "Squawk!" Igor squawked as Pete muttered an "arrgh." Then Big Pete let loose with a scary "so thar." What would you do if a pirate and a parrot walked into the library? Chills ran down spines as those readers all shook. They hid behind bookshelves but ventured a look. And what was that odor? Disgusting! Phew! But no one at Sea Breezy knew what to do. Except Library Lou, who dashed over to see what all the unruly commotion could be. "May I help you?" Lou asked with a pinch of a frown. "This is a library. Shh, quiet down." "Arr!" Big Pete thundered. "Don't waste me day. Walk the plank, saucy lass, or show me the way." At Sea Breezy then you could hear a pin drop. All that tough ruffian talk and squawk stopped. For Library Lou looked Pete right in the eye as Pete stood his ground with a snarl. Oh my! Minute by minute their tempers both flared as they stood head to head and doggedly dared. "Unless you be quiet and listen up too, no pirates allowed," said Library Lou. "Squawk!" Igor squawked with a blow-me-down glare. Then Library Lou boldly added, "So there." "Now, where is the treasure map?" Lou asked. "Ah, yes, the treasure is here," she said, "just as I guessed. I'll help you find it, but first I must ask of you and your matey a wee smallish task. Go home, take a bath, and change your underwear too. Then come back tomorrow," said Library Lou. You think he's going to do what she says? "Arrrrr!" A landlubber telling Big Pete what to do. But she said there be treasure. Sink me, 'tis true. So that night, Pete scrubbed 13 layers of dirt and decided clean underwear couldn't hurt. Squawking Igor got a good scrubbing too. Swish through the sea sailed their funky P.U. Then later they dreamed of a treasure or two. See him in his bathtub? Squawk! The next day they burst through that library door with a fresh, soapy scent, but as loud as before. "Mateys, your manners," said Library Lou. "Now come follow me. We have much work to do." Aye. Big Pete grabbed his picks and his axe and his shovel, but Library Lou said, "Don't go to the trouble." "But lassie, the loot," Lou said. "Not yet. First, say ahoy to these letters, this fine alphabet." "Letters," Pete scowled. "There be more than X?" Lou spread them all out. Big Pete looked perplexed. "Blimey," cried Pete. "A code of old, a secret one, aye, to find the sweet gold." Library Lou grinned a witty, wise grin. "Brilliant," she cried. "Now time to begin. Here they are, all of them. Pleased to meet you. Isn't this fun?" said Library Lou. "Fun," Big Pete sneered. "It be torture, no less. Me'd rather be kissin' a fat treasure chest." So many letters. Big Pete got confused. W's, H's, S's, and Q's. Some she called vowels. A's, E's, I's, O's, and U's. Soon Lou took some letters and mixed them about. "Look," exclaimed Lou, "words to sound out." "Now here is a stack you may take home with you. Then come back tomorrow," said Library Lou. What is she teaching him? Is she teaching him how to read? Yes. Up on the poop deck, Pete practiced that night. He practiced each word till he got each word right. Igor, he bragged, will hold riches untold, 'cause us, we be hard-working gluttons for gold. Yes, day after day he went back, and night after night Lou piled high a new stack. Soon, Big Pete was reading not small words, but big. Here are some of them. See that? Swashbuckling, buccaneer, thingamajig. Those are big words. But Pete got impatient. He'd worked day and night, and still not a trinket or treasure in sight. One day he barked at Lou. Do what ye told. Ye said you'd be helpin' find that sweet gold. Correct, answered Lou. In a book there's a clue. I've given my help. It's now up to you. Pete stared at those books lined up shelf after shelf. A code, a clue. Arrrrrr, me find 'em myself. Look at all those books. Oh, it looks like fun. Maybe, just maybe, the code be in rhyme. He loved Mother Goose. Dr. Seuss, how sublime. They tickled his fancy, but no secret code. Avast, easy readers, he snatched Frog and Toad. I bet you know Frog and Toad, don't you? Day after day after day he went back, and night after night he piled high a new stack. He found books called classics, great tales of the sea. Blimey, cried Big Pete, that's where the clue be. Treasure Island, me like it, but no clue to be found. Stumped, Big Pete scoured each shelf up and down. See him reading all of his books in his little boat on top of the whale? Gangway, the non-fiction, there's where she be. Soon luscious loot, fancy free on the sea. Those factual books Big Pete came to love, he read about things he'd never heard of. Stink bugs and baseball and surfing and Mars. Dinosaurs, mummies, electric guitars. Pete's picks and his axe and his shovel got dusty. At piratey ways, Big Pete got a mite rusty. Look at all the things he's learning about. Now, Pete wasn't a pirate just dreaming of loot, but a reader he was, and a good one to boot. When one book was finished, yes, when one was done, Pete picked up another. Reading was fun. He read and he read and he read and he read. Then suddenly, one night, Pete popped up in bed. He's got an idea. Wonder what it is. The next day, at Sea Breezy Library, things were just right. Book lovers were cozy, the sky was blue bright. When Big Pete and Igor tiptoed through the door, and spied Library Lou in aisle 404. They both gave her hugs, each a kiss too. We've come to thank ye, Miss Library Lou. 'Cause of ye, now we know, books be the treasure. Shucks, whispered Lou, it's been my pleasure. Now, Library Lou, with a smile big and proud, is hanging a sign that says, Pirates Allowed. All right, there he goes, sailing away. Can you say the end? The end. I love that book. Okay. Very simple craft, and I made a couple of examples. One a little fancier than the other. You need a spyglass if you're going to be a pirate. So here's the first one. This one's super easy. It's just a piece of black construction paper and a little bit of yellow construction paper. This is supposed to be gold. And I used magic marker to draw my gems on the end of my spyglass, because if you're a pirate, you have to have some bling, absolutely. So you can take it outside and look around, see if you see any other pirate ships about. Let's see, I see you. So that's one version. Again, it's just a piece of black construction paper. I used tape, but you can certainly use glue to fasten it shut. Now, if you've got some cardboard tubes in the house, doesn't have to be necessarily paper towels. Any cardboard tube will do, like the ones that, sometimes rolls of wrapping paper come on. Here's this one. I really like this one a lot. This I painted black, and then I had a little extra piece of cardboard from another tube, and I painted it a metallic gold and put some sparkles on it. Look at those, some little gemstones. Yeah, very fancy. Oh yeah, I mean serious business with this. So take your spyglass, take it outside, see if you can spy other pirate ships or maybe some treasure or some abandoned islands, all kinds of cool stuff. You can go outside and have you a pirate adventure. Ahoy! All right, well, that's it for today. I hope you've had a good time. I sure have. And I will see you the next time on Storytime at Home. Have a great day. Bye.